My name is Amelia Rhodes, and I'm 36 years old. I have learned that betrayal doesn't always arrive as a slammed door. Sometimes it wears a soft sweater and says it's for the kid. Ethan stood in our kitchen, hands braced on the counter like a man making a noble announcement. "I'm moving in with Nadia," he said. "It's for Emma. Co-parenting will be easier if we're under the same roof. You'll understand someday." The words landed like gravel in my chest. I stared at the cereal bowl Emma used last night, the glittery plastic spoon still in the sink because Ethan promised he'd rinse it. "You're moving in with your ex to co-parent," I repeated. "It's not about us," he said, and that little sermon tone in his voice made my teeth ache. "It's about Emma. She needs both parents together. Stability." "Emma has a room here," I said quietly. "We built it together. We read her the mermaid book until we knew it by heart." "You're not her mother, Amelia." He took a breath, eyes softening like he was doing me a kindness. "You're amazing with her, but this is what's best. And we can still date. Weekends would be good." Nadia and I agreed. No partners at the house for a while. We don't want to confuse Emma. No partners at the house. So he'd be single, but not. A monk in Nadia's spare room who kissed me in parking lots on Saturdays. "Nadia agreed," I said, tasting the name. "How generous." He brightened, misunderstanding my calm for consent. "You get it? This is modern. Blended families. You always said you believed in doing what's best for Emma." I inhaled, held it, let it go. "You're absolutely right, Ethan," I said. "If you think this is best, when do you want to move?" His face lit like sunrise. "Really? You understand?" "Completely." I smiled and heard how steady I sounded. "I'll even help you pack." He hugged me hard, grateful, relieved. I hugged him back and looked over his shoulder at the tiny handprint Emma had left on the fridge with blue paint last month. Stability, I thought. Let's see how stable you really are. The next few days, I was the perfect supportive girlfriend. I found boxes, labeled them by room, wrapped dishes in newspaper, and organized the closet that still smelled like his cologne. He kept praising me. "See? This is why I love you," he said, tape gun snapping shut another carton. "You get it." "Absolutely," I said. "Quick question. Does Nadia have a boyfriend?" His expression dimmed. "No. We agreed no partners in the house. It would confuse Emma." "So you'll both be single, living together, co-parenting," I said, as if reciting a recipe. "And I can't visit. Not overnight. Maybe not for a month. Just until Emma adjusts." He was earnest. Earnestness can look like sincerity in poor lighting. "It won't be forever." "Of course," I said, and handed him a marker. While I packed, I found a slim folder tucked on the top shelf of his closet behind a shoebox. Legal documents, neatly clipped. Ethan's name, Nadia's name, custody agreement, and financial disclosures. I put it where it belonged, into the box labeled Important Papers, and that night, in the quiet, I took out my phone and scanned every page. The part about cohabitation made me pause. Any cohabitation with a romantic partner could trigger a review of custody and support. Interesting. The financial disclosure made me pause longer. Nadia owed $18,000 in back child support to her ex-husband, Carlos. Very interesting. The real gift was a thick stack of printed screenshots tucked behind the folder, text messages between Ethan and Nadia from a month ago. Why do people print their own schemes? There it all was, black and white. "Nadia, just move in. We'll say it's for Emma. Amelia's useful right now." Ethan, "She pays half the rent. Don't rock the boat until the summer." Nadia, "She covered dance classes for the whole year. Be nice." Ethan, "She loves Emma, makes this easier. Useful. Wallet, not mother." I set the pages down, and a small part of me broke in a clean line. Then another part, quiet, strong, stood up inside me. Moving day arrived. I rented the U-Haul, because I am, apparently, very supportive. I loaded boxes while Ethan managed, while Nadia supervised from her porch like a queen welcoming tribute. She had that brittle smile some people wear when they think they've won. "Thank you for understanding," she said, arms folded, gaze sliding over me as if measuring the price tag I must still have hanging off. "Emma needs stability, routine." "Children should always come first," I said. She missed the temperature in my tone. We hauled, we stacked, we made a pathetic altar of a life he was so sure would be better without me in it every day. Emma waved from the window, her hair in a crooked ponytail she'd insisted on doing herself. She loved doing it like Amelia does. My throat tightened. I waved back and made my smile bright, bright enough to reach her. After we were done, Ethan walked me to the truck. "I'll call you tomorrow," he said, soft. "We can plan a date night." "Looking forward to it," I said. He kissed me, careful, grateful, and Nadia watched from inside with her arms crossed, pretending not to. I drove away, but I didn't drive home. Their mailbox stood at the end of the cul-de-sac, neat and new, the kind with the brushed steel flag. I pulled over, glanced around the quiet street, and took out a manila envelope I'd prepared with gentle, meticulous care. Inside were copies of the custody agreement, the cohabitation clause highlighted, the financial disclosures, and the text messages. I added a sticky note on top in tidy script. "Nadia, printing texts about Ethan's performance issues for your group chat wasn't kind. Carlos might also care about the back support. Sharing this for full co-parenting transparency. Best A." The performance issues line was a fiction, but paranoia waters itself. I slid the packet into the mailbox and lowered the lid with a soft click. The evening smelled like cut grass and something sweet from a neighbor's grill. In the distance, a dog barked twice, like a benediction. On the drive back, the city lights came up one by one, beads on a velvet chain. I thought about all the ways we justify cowardice by stapling the word noble to it. I thought about Emma's handprint on my fridge. I thought about stability. Who builds it, who breaks it, and who pretends it was ever theirs to give. At home, the apartment felt bigger without the boxes. I stood in the doorway and listened to the quiet. The silence didn't accuse me. It thanked me. My phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. "Home, thank you again. You're amazing." Emma asked about Pancake Saturday. I told her we could still do it sometimes. Sometimes. I turned the word over and let it show me what it really meant. I set the phone face down, boiled water, made tea, sat at the table and laid out my own receipts, literal and otherwise. A person can be useful for only so long before she learns the vocabulary of her own worth. At 6:00 a.m., when the fog is still sitting on the world and truth has a way of sounding louder, phones tend to ring. I looked at mine, waiting. A stillness inside me that felt like the moment and right before a storm breaks. The air charged, the sky held on a breath. The storm, after all, was already seated. It was just a matter of when the clouds chose to open. The call came at 6:02 a.m. Sharp. The name on my phone glowed like déjà vu. Ethan. "Amelia, what did you do?" His voice was already breaking. I stirred my tea, calm. "Good morning to you too. How's the co-parenting experiment going?" "Nadia's losing it. She says you sent something. She won't tell me what, but she's threatening to call her lawyer. What did you give her?" "Nothing," I said softly. "Just dropped off a few papers I found while packing. Thought they might be important." "What papers?" "Oh, you know, legal documents, text messages, things you might have wanted to keep private." Silence. Then, "You went through my things?" "I packed your things, Ethan. You asked me to. I was being thorough. Did I stumble on something sensitive?" "She's threatening to sue me. Says I violated the custody agreement." "By moving in with her while dating me?" I said, polite as a prayer. "That's unfortunate. You might want to reread Section 4, Paragraph 2. He hung up. 10 minutes later, Nadia called. Her tone was a fire alarm. "He's threatening to take me to court. Says I violated the custody agreement by cohabiting with him, by planning to keep dating you while living here. Apparently that counts as a romantic relationship." "Oh no," I said gently. Who could have predicted that? "You knew." "I read," I said. "You should try it sometime." She screamed something about betrayal and privacy. I held the phone away, let her burn through the noise, and then pressed end. Within the hour, another call. Unknown number. "Is this Amelia Rhodes?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes. This is Carla, Ethan's ex-wife." The calm in her voice was scarier than the shouting. "I just received a package," she said. "Financial statements, text messages. Are they real?" "Every word," I said. "You can verify the metadata if you'd like." $18,000. She exhaled, low and dangerous. "That bastard told me he was broke. Apparently not too broke to rent a nice house for your ex and her new roommate." Her voice tightened. "I appreciate the honesty, Amelia." "Don't thank me," I said. "Thank transparency." "I will, in court." When she hung up, I let the silence fill the room. It was almost musical. The sound of dominoes falling somewhere I didn't have to see. By noon, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Ethan. Nadia. Then Ethan again. I let them pile up, unanswered. When I finally picked up, his voice was raw. She's blaming me for everything. She's packing. She says you ruined her life. Ruined, I said, or revealed? You're proud of this? I'm consistent. You wanted honesty. Nadia wanted control. I just let both of you have what you asked for. He sighed. You're cruel. No, I said quietly. Just done being useful. That night, social media caught fire. Nadia posted a long paragraph about betrayal, about men and women who weaponize love and punish children for adult mistakes. A tragic self-portrait painted in pastel filters. I didn't comment. I simply posted one image, the screenshot where Ethan and Nadia called me a wallet with legs, circled in red, captioned, "When love turns into a business transaction, close the account." Her post vanished an hour later. 2 days passed before I heard from anyone again. Then a call from a number I didn't recognize, a gentle woman introducing herself as Mrs. Dalton, Emma's school counselor. "Ms. Rhodes," she said kindly, "Emma's been asking about you. She misses your Saturday breakfasts. Would you be open to exchanging letters through the school? We'd monitor everything, of course." My throat closed. "Yes," I whispered. "Of course." That night, her first letter arrived in my inbox, scanned through the school office. "Dear Amelia, Mom says you don't love us anymore, but I don't believe her. Do you still remember our pancake song? I miss your laugh. Love, Emma." I printed it and read it 3 times before answering. "Dear Emma, I remember every word of the song. Life changes, but the good memories stay. I'm proud of you. Keep being kind and brave. Love, your friend, Amelia." I copied the counselor on every word, followed every rule. Because some love, when clean and quiet, doesn't need witnesses, only proof that it existed. The next morning, Nadia called again. Her voice cracked. Fury dissolved into fear. "They're giving Ethan primary custody. They said my living situation's unstable. This is your fault." "How?" I asked softly. "You made your choices. You built your house out of matches and gasoline. I just watched it light." "You're sick." "No," I said, "just awake." After she hung up, I opened Emma's letter again. The ink was faint, the handwriting shaky, but earnest. At the bottom, she'd drawn a stack of pancakes and a smiley face. For the first time in weeks, I smiled back. The truth was doing its work now, slow and relentless. Nadia's finances came under review. Carla's lawyer filed an emergency motion. Ethan's accounts were audited. The co-parenting dream turned courtroom drama. And me? I went back to my life, tea in the morning, walks at dusk, quiet. Sometimes revenge doesn't roar. Sometimes it sighs and lets gravity finish the rest. By the end of that month, the fallout was everywhere. Nadia was back at her parents' condo. 2 jobs, no savings, and a social feed full of motivational quotes about rising stronger. Ethan was living in a studio apartment that smelled like cheap cologne and reheated regret. Carla got her $18,000, plus interest. The court even granted her additional support after discovering Ethan's creative accounting. It was poetic in a way. They called it co-parenting. The court called it fraud. One afternoon, my phone buzzed again. Ethan's father, of all people. His voice was polite, worn. "Amelia, what the hell happened? Ethan says you sabotaged everything. Did he tell you he moved in with his ex while dating me?" A pause. "No." "Did he mention they planned to keep me around because I paid half the rent and Emma's dance classes?" "He said that was exaggerated." "I have screenshots if you'd like to see them." Another silence. "Send them." I did. He called back an hour later. "We didn't raise him to be this careless," he said quietly. "I'm sorry you got caught in it." "It's not your fault," I said. "You can't control who people become when they think they're untouchable." He sighed. "You were good to Emma." "I tried," I said. "She deserved it." When we hung up, I sat in the stillness of my apartment and realized something. I didn't feel triumphant. Not exactly. Just clean. Like scrubbing away the last trace of mold. Weeks passed. The letters from Emma continued, short and bright. "Dear Amelia, we learned fractions. Pancake math." I wrote back, "Dear Emma, pancakes make everything better. Keep practicing your fractions. They'll help you bake someday." Always copied the counselor. Always within the rules. Then one evening, as I folded laundry, my phone lit up again. Unknown number. "You destroyed my life over pride. I hope you're happy. Nadia." I typed slowly. "I'm not happy or unhappy. I'm indifferent. You made choices. I made sure the right people saw them." A pause. Then another message. "Emma misses you." "That's manipulation," I wrote, "and you know it." "It's true, though." Then maybe you should have thought of that before using me as your safety net while planning your reunion with Ethan. I never loved him, she wrote. I loved you. You loved what I provided, I replied. There's a difference. Please, can we talk? We just did. Lose this number. I blocked her and went back to folding towels. Sometimes closure doesn't arrive as peace. Sometimes it's just quiet where noise used to live. A month later, I met Caleb, a friend of a friend, a structural engineer who loved old architecture and black coffee. He listened more than he spoke, and when he smiled, it was like sunlight through heavy curtains. No kids, no ex-drama, no secrets, just small talk that turned into laughter, dinners that turned into something steadier. He asked once, carefully, about Ethan. Was it bad? Worse, I said, but I learned something valuable. What's that? That you can't save people who enjoy the fire. He nodded, didn't ask for details, just reached for my hand across the table. The simplicity was disarming. The peace, almost suspicious, but it held. 2 months after the mailbox moment, I drove past Ethan's old neighborhood. The house was sold. The new owners had painted it pale blue. A rainbow flag fluttered in the front yard, and a wooden sign on the porch read, "Love Wins." I parked for a second, smiled at the irony, then drove on. People say karma's slow. I think it's just thorough. Back home, I opened my drawer and found Emma's letters, tied with ribbon. I reread the first one, her handwriting crooked, her words unfiltered. Do you still remember our pancake song? I whispered the tune under my breath and laughed softly. Maybe someday, when she's old enough, she'll understand that truth and love aren't enemies. They just don't always live in the same house. And as for me, I finally stopped mistaking usefulness for worth. Because real love doesn't need receipts. It just needs honesty. And sometimes the courage to walk away once the lies start sounding like lullabies.